welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to take you through a yoga flow to help you with back pain. So shoulder pain, lower back pain, or any discomfort in the spine. Now it's really important that if you do suffer with back pain to firstly just make sure that you are fit, well and healthy. Listen to your body and always seek the advice of a medical professional if you're not entirely sure. But remember to please listen to your body. Stop if it doesn't feel good. Take a step back if it doesn't feel good. And remember that you can pause and have rest at any time. So just be very kind and caring and considerate with your body when practicing this yoga flow. So we're going to find a nice comfortable seat on the mat here. Now if that's more comfortable to sit on a yoga block, then take that option, sit on the yoga block here. You can have your legs extended out in front of you. Anything that feels better to give you a nice comfortable seat on the mat. We're just going to take a few shoulder rolls, so just rolling the shoulders up towards the ears and letting them soften down the back. Big juicy shoulder rolls, really getting some nice movement going in the upper body. And then we're going to reverse that movement. So taking them behind, up towards the ears and down. Good, just a couple more going in this direction. Softening it down here. We're just going to lower one ear down towards the shoulder, just having a nice stretch through the neck. Sometimes if we've got a lot of tension in our upper body and our shoulders and upper back, it can be from a lot of tension that we hold in the neck, in the shoulders. You might want to hold it here, or you might want to make it a little bit heavier and just take that hand, not pulling on the head, but just gently placing the hand on the head and just using that as a little bit of gentle pressure, drawing the ear down towards the shoulder. Good, come back up through the middle. Let's take it over to the other side, so just drawing that ear down towards the shoulder. Again, maybe holding it here, allowing that part of the neck, that sternocleidomastoid, to open, to lengthen. Or you may choose to take that hand, just rest it on the head. So not pulling, not tugging at the head in any way, just a little weight. A little weight on that head, just drawing the ear ever so closer towards that shoulder. And then coming back up to the top, gently releasing it. Let's tuck the chin down. Open up through the back of the neck here. And then back up, maybe taking the gaze up towards the ceiling, tuck it down, chin down, and then lifting it up. Good. Down, lifting it up. One more of these. This time we're going to take little semicircles, so ear down towards the shoulder, tuck the chin in. Come through the middle and open up to the other side, and let's take it back through the middle again. So little semicircles, just going from side to side, softening through the shoulders as much as possible. Making sure that we're not hunching the shoulders, drawing them up towards the ears. Dropping the chin down, rolling it one way, and then dropping it down and rolling the other. Good, one more going each way just to build some balance in the body. And then bring it back through the middle. So we're going to work into the upper body and the shoulders a little bit more, because sometimes we can hold a lot of tension there, which contributes to back pain. So I want you to get a yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, then a dressing gown cord can do, or a pair of tights, or a resistance band, something just to hold on to here. And we're just going to take the hands just to shoulder width and then a little bit wider, just a hand span wider, so nothing too wide at the moment. We're just going to lift the arms up overhead, see how far we can get, and then come back down. Good, lifting it up, taking it up and overhead, and then coming back through the middle. Good, let's take it up again. As you bring the arms up overhead, draw those shoulders down the back. Just watch they're not coming up towards the ears. Keep pulling those shoulders down the back. Then bring it back through the middle. Good. Lifting it up overhead, draw those shoulders down the back. And then bring it back through the middle. One more. Good. Let's bring it back through the middle. Let's take it a little bit wider. This time we're going to bring it up overhead. We're going to bend one elbow, extending the other arm down. So we're just starting to get into that shoulder a little bit more, starting to pull down on one end, stretching into that shoulder. Come up all the way up to the top. Let's take it down the other side. So pulling the strap down, so we're bending that top elbow. Hand lowering down in between the middle of the back. Come back up to the top. Let's take it down again. Just opening up through those shoulders, just going from side to side. Trying to keep that chest lifted if you can, so we can really get into that upper back. Good. Come back up through the middle. One more on each side. Lovely. Let's come back up through the middle. Last one here. Just see if you can get a little bit deeper maybe with each one. Come back up through center. Let's bring it down out in front. And then we're going to take it a little bit wider. Now this is going to be very dependent on your shoulders and your upper back, so take it as wide as you need. But we're going to extend those arms up towards the ceiling, and we're going to take that strap all the way behind us here. Good. Let's extend those arms back up, overhead, back out in front. Good. Lifting it up overhead, take it behind, opening through that heart space, and then back up, over and around the front. Good. Keep those shoulders drawing down the back even as you bring those arms up overhead. Don't be tempted to let those shoulders come up towards the ears, and then soften the arms back down in front. Good. Up. Take it behind. Maybe as you continue practicing with this, you start to walk those hands a little bit closer. Maybe you're able to get a little bit more movement going, but what we want to make sure is that there's no jolting through the shoulders. We're not trying to move one part of the body or the other. We're trying to balance out both sides as we lift the arms up overhead and take it behind. Balance out both sides as we lift back up. Bring it back through the middle. One more of these here. Lifting it up, taking the arms back and behind. Bring it back up through the middle. Lovely. Let's release that strap, just placing it to one side. Again, you might want to stay seated on that block. You might want to have it out to the side, but we're just going to take some nice side bends. So reaching up and over, going to the side, just getting that lateral flexion going through the spine. When you come into this side bend, maybe you're lowering down onto your forearm, maybe not. Maybe you're finding a block here, placing a block underneath that elbow. Wherever you are, we want to make sure that the opposite hip isn't peeling away from the mat. It's staying nice and plugged down. So we're staying nice and grounded through both sitting bones here. You might want to hold it here, or you might want to take that hand behind the head and start to spin open that chest a little bit. Draw back on that top shoulder. Spin the bottom of the rib cage forwards. So we're just opening up through that spine, through that upper back a little bit more. And then we're going to find some rotation. So we're going to breathe in here as we open. Exhale, we're going to draw the elbow down towards the knee. Inhale to spin it up and open. And exhale, draw it down. Now if this feels uncomfortable, if this feels painful in your back, remember, move out of it, ease out of it. You can hold it still in that side bend. You don't have to add any movement. Good. And lifting it back up. From here, I want you to take that top hand, place it on the opposite knee. We're going to bring ourselves up into a seated position, and we're going to find our way into a twist. So just a nice seated twist here. Whenever we do a twist, we want to make sure we're not leaning into that back hand. We're still sitting directly on top of those sitting bones. Those shoulders are soft. We're gazing over that back shoulder. Let's come back through the center. Good, and we're going to walk the hands over to the other side. So we're going to take that same stretch, but over on the other side. So nice big side reach here, coming back into that lateral side bend through the body. Drawing out of the hip, the waist, the shoulder, reaching the arm overhead. Fingertips pulling away from you here. Maybe holding here, maybe hand behind the head. Opening and spinning that chest and drawing back on that top elbow. Spinning that bottom rib cage underneath. Holding it here for those lovely big juicy breaths. And if you want to add in that twist, then as we exhale, we can draw the opposite elbow down towards the knee. Inhale to open. And then exhale, elbow down towards the knee. Inhale to open. Good. If it doesn't feel comfortable, remember, back out of it, ease out of it. Practice yoga in a way that feels complementary to your body and how it's feeling. Good. From here, we're going to take that top hand, place it on the opposite knee, bring ourselves up into that seat, and we're going to find that twist on the other side. Again, not leaning into that back hand, just lifting up nice and tall, taking that gaze over that back shoulder. And coming back through the middle, and we're going to roll over those knees. So we're going to roll over the knees to bring ourselves into a 4-point kneeling position. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We're going to find our way into cat and cow. So as we breathe in, we're dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, the heart space, the gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, rounding through the spine, drawing belly button in up towards the spine. Then inhale. Dropping the belly, rolling the shoulders down the back, taking the gaze up, and exhale, finding your way back into that cat. Connecting movement to breath, but really allowing yourself to work through your spine here. So taking it in one way, and then the other. Good. One more round. Full round of breath. So inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, the tailbone, and exhale, rounding through the spine, pushing the floor away, cat stretch. Back to neutral. We're going to take the left fingertips to temple here. We're going to inhale, open up, and exhale, we're drawing the elbows together, so we're twisting the other way. So we're finding a nice twist again. Inhale to open. Exhale to twist and draw the elbows together. You might want to stay here, or you can sweep the arm up towards the ceiling and then thread the arm underneath the right side, hovering the shoulder away from the mat. And reaching all the way back up again and hovering that shoulder. 2 more breaths in this way. Whenever we connect breath to movement, we are always bringing ourselves back into the present moment. Last one. Big inhale as you reach up and open through that spine. Thread the arm through the right side and just starting to rest that left shoulder and left cheek down onto the mat. Holding it here, maybe, or maybe starting to take those right fingertips, walking them forwards and really lengthening through that arm. Elongating through the right arm, finding as much length as possible. Drawing back on that right shoulder, so we're getting this lovely twist and opening through the body here. Slowly walk those fingertips back in. Hand underneath the shoulder, bring yourself back up into that box position. And this time, right fingertips to the temple. We're going to inhale, open, take it on the other side, and exhale, elbows draw together. Inhale, open. And exhale, draw together. You might want to stay here, or maybe extending the arm up towards the ceiling. Lovely stretch through the spine, and then threading the arm underneath, hovering the shoulder. Then inhale, nice big reach and open. Exhale, thread it underneath and hover. Good. Breathing in to open and hover. Threading underneath. Moving the spine in all these lovely juicy waves. On this last one, threading that right arm underneath the left, hovering that shoulder, then lowering down with the right shoulder, right cheek here. Finding that thread the needle stretch. On the other side, maybe walking those left fingertips forwards. So elongating through the arm. Stretching, opening through that left side, maybe drawing back on the left shoulder ever so slightly to find more of a stretch here. And come back through the middle by walking the hand back in underneath the shoulder. Bring yourself up into that box position This time we're going to get that sideways cat and cow where we're starting to draw the hip towards the shoulder, taking it the other way. So going back to that little lateral flexion through the spine, just going side to side, drawing the hips one way and then the other. Good. Bring it back through the middle. So we're going to start to work on our spinal waves here. So spinal waves are really nice for opening up through the spine. So we're going to find our way into cat stretch and back into cow. So between cat and cow here. Good. Cat and cow. This time we're going to find our way into cow for opening the heart up towards the ceiling, bottom back towards the heels, coming into child's pose. Then as we come back up to the top, we're rounding through the spine back into cat stretch. Taking it back, bottom towards the heels, arching through the back and then up through center. So we're starting to work on these spinal waves, working in this box position here. If you want to add on a little bit more, we can find our way into a half plank pose here. Same thing, start to drop the belly, lift the chest, the tailbone, almost like a cow stretch, back towards the heels, child's pose. Come back up through that cat stretch, arching the back up towards the ceiling. Find your way into plank, and let's take it again. Opening up through the heart space, bottom towards the heels and rounding up and into plank. So we're taking the spine in all these beautiful different directions. Good, down and up. You might want to stay here, or if you're in that full plank position, we're starting to bend the knees, arching through the back, drawing bottom back towards the heels. Up into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, rolling through the spine, arching through the, coming your way into, or finding your way into plank pose. And then bending through the knees again, elevated child's pose, arching through the spine. Finding your way into downward facing dog and then rippling through the spine, back into plank. Good, nice juicy spinal waves. Opening up through the back. Just taking 2 more. Doesn't matter how slow, how fast you take these, work with your own breath, with your own dynamic. Whenever we work with the spine, I always think slower is better, but it's up to you and what feels good. And then when you're ready, finding a way into downward facing dog here. If you're finding pain and discomfort in your spine, lifting your heels, bending through your knees, maybe taking the hands a little bit wider in this downward facing dog as well can help. Maybe finding hands onto your block. But we're trying to lengthen through the spine as much as possible. Drawing back on those shoulders. Gaze in between the hands. I'm just going to walk the feet up towards the top of the mat into Uttanasana or deep forward fold here. In deep forward fold, we don't want to be rounding through the spine too much. I want you to focus on lengthening through the spine here. So we're going to get hold of a brick if that feels comfortable for Ardha Uttanasana or halfway lift. So remember, when it comes to using bricks, you have 3 different sides to choose from here, just to give you some connection to the mat. Maybe you're not using the brick, maybe you've got your hands on your shins or even your thighs here. Or maybe your fingertips are on the mat. Wherever you are, find that length of the spine. Inhale. As you exhale, we're going to soften down, round, and then inhale, lengthen again. And then exhale. Soften through the spine. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale. Soften back down. Beautiful. Just taking a few more here. Last one. And then hold it in that deep forward fold. You can can use a brick here as well if you want to. You can have your hands resting on the mat. Maybe taking hold of opposite elbows and just gently rocking from side to side if you want to find more of a ragdoll. We can make this completely passive. Just allowing the lower back to open up here. Relaxing the shoulders and the crease in the back of your neck. And allowing the crown of the head to drift a little bit closer towards the mat with every breath. Bending through your knees just a little bit to allow you to heel toe those feet to the outer edges of the mat here. Heels in, toes pointing out towards the side. We're going to start to sink our bottom down towards the mat into Malasana or Yogi squat here. If you want to, maybe finding a way to sit on a block here, maybe that feels comfortable. Maybe having blocks underneath your heels. But we're opening up into the hips here and we're getting into that lower back. So what we want to try and do is, instead of rounding through the spine, get this lovely extension through the spine. Maybe bring your hands to heart center or keeping your hands on the ground here. If your heels are lifted, that's absolutely okay. We want to try and open through those hips. Maybe bringing your hands together at your heart center and just using your elbows to gently guide those knees open. We're focusing on really lengthening through the spine here as much as possible. Keeping that back nice and extended, so we're trying to decompress through the spine. We're trying to not hold too much tension in the lower back. Maybe starting to gently rock from side to side here, maybe just spinning those knees open, twisting from side to side. Planting the hands back down, lifting the hips back up towards the ceiling, finding your way back into that deep forward fold. From here, we're going to step back to find our way back into downward facing dog. Holding it here just for a few breaths. Inhaling, exhaling. On your next inhale, we're going to ripple through the spine, up and forwards, back into that plank position. We're going to lower down with the right knee, spin the toes out to the long edge of the mat, ground down with the opposite heel. And we're going to find our way into that supported side plank. So just opening up through the chest, opening up through the shoulder. Nice big reach, so opening up through the side of the body, ground down through that extended leg, through the outer edge of the foot, push up. We're going to find our way into gate pose, so just opening that arm over towards that extended leg, so we're opening up through the side of the body here. Maybe spinning that top shoulder open a little bit more. Good. And then we're going to reach it forwards and we're coming back into a box position here. So hands underneath the shoulders and that right knee underneath the hip. From here, we're going to reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. And then as we exhale, we're going to go back to that thread the needle. But this time we're lowering the right shoulder straight away onto the mat, that right cheek onto the mat here. So we're starting to move a little bit deeper into that right side. Those left fingertips maybe are walking out in front, or maybe this time they're reaching up and behind, maybe hooking onto that hip, the thigh, and just allowing the chest to open a little bit more, that left shoulder to open that tiny bit more. Releasing that bind, coming back up through the center. Good, finding our way back into gate pose. One last time on this side. And then we're going to take that arm back up and over, supported side plank here. Nice big reach. Maybe taking that top hand, just opening the heart space a little bit more if that feels good in the back for the last couple of breaths. If it doesn't feel good, remember, back out. Bring it back down through the middle. Find your way back into downward facing dog. We're going to take that same thing over on the other side. So bringing it up and through that spinal ripple back into plank, lowering down with the left knee, spinning the toes out, finding our way into that supported side plank here. Opening the heart, opening through the side of the body, grounding down through that extended leg, lifting yourself up and finding your way into gate pose on this side. Just drawing back on that top shoulder. Not putting too much pressure on that right hand as it rests on the leg. Good. And then from here, we're going to take it forwards back into that box position. This time from here, reaching that left arm up towards the ceiling, we're going to thread it underneath the right, just lowering that left shoulder down, left cheek down. Those right fingertips can walk out in front, or maybe reaching up and behind, hooking onto the hip or the outer thigh, and just drawing back on that right shoulder. Gently releasing the bind. Bring the hand back underneath the shoulder, coming back up to find that supported or that gate pose here. Opening up through the heart and then back into that supported side plank. And while we're here, maybe holding it here over the last couple of breaths, maybe just taking that arm a little bit further back, opening up through the heart, finding a way into a little bit of a back bend. Come back through the center, find your way back into downward facing dog. Just finding more length through the spine. We're going to lower down with the knees. We're going to cross the heels and we're going to sit back on the feet here. We're going to extend those legs out in front of us, or we're going to sit ourselves forward so we've got our space behind us. Bend the knees. We're going to lower ourselves down. Feet are going to be hip width. The feet are underneath the knees. We're going to start to roll up through the spine, one vertebra at a time, and then roll it back down. So just moving in and out of bridge. So tucking the pelvis underneath, rolling through the spine, lifting it up. Not too high to begin with, nothing too excessive. Rolling it back down. Beautiful. One more, this time holding it at the top here. Lifting the hips nice and high, maybe shuffling the shoulders towards one another underneath you. Maybe taking a little bind with the hands, interlacing those fingers. Lifting the hips, opening the heart space. Then gently just removing that bind, maybe shuffling the shoulders away from one another again. Lowering down with the back. Hugging the knees in towards the chest, just giving them a nice cuddle, gently rocking from side to side. Taking the arms out by the side of the body and lowering the knees down to one side. So we have this lovely spinal stretch going through the back. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling, or maybe taking the gaze over towards the opposite hand. And then we're going to come back through the center. We're going to take that same twist over to the other side. So just dropping the knees down, taking the gaze over to the opposite side, over towards that hand. Not trying to push anything here, just softening into it. Come back through the center and finishing with one of my favorites, a happy baby. So we're hugging the knees in towards the armpits. Reaching around for the outer edges of the feet, inside edges of the feet. And we're just drawing the knees in towards the armpits, soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. Decompressing through the spine, so we want to make sure that the lower back isn't tucking underneath us. Staying nice and elongated on the mat here. Maybe your hands on the outer edges of the feet, inside edges of the feet, drawing down and really opening up into those hips and in the lower back. Maybe peace fingers are wrapped around the big toes, and you might want to find some stillness here. Or sometimes I think it's really nice just to find a little bit of movement, just a little bit of rocking, give that back a bit of a massage. It can feel quite delicious in this pose. If you are taking some movement, just making it slower and slower, smaller and smaller to come back through to the center, still elongating through the spine as much as possible. Release the grip of the feet. Hug the knees back in towards the chest. And then extend your legs out in front of you, arms overhead, and just come into a lovely full body stretch here. When you're ready, bending through the knees, rolling onto a side that feels comfortable for you, so you can bring yourself back up into a nice, comfortable seat to finish your practice. I really hope that you enjoy doing this yoga flow with me to help work into your back and get rid of any kinks or any pains. Remember to always listen to your body, no matter how much you practice yoga or how much you move. It's always really important to listen to your body, be aware of it, and honor and respect it. So I really hope that you did enjoy this practice. Remember to like and subscribe and share it with anyone who you think would benefit from doing this practice as well. And I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I will speak to you soon.